Okay, so yesterday we had the gap up just below 271, which had been the prior day's high. We did have a strong drive, killed the gap, 271.75. That was a possible failure spot as well. Hung up there for about a half an hour before having a second leg with buyers in complete control. And so we're kind of pretty close to this morning's 273, which is the next resistance. I'm told there's multiple closes below 270 on the SPYs. Really don't think about any type of deeper pullback in the market. As I put in the game plan notes, one day wonder until proven otherwise. On the IWM side, that just continues to make new all-time highs. So a new closing high yesterday. 165 is kind of a natural level. I have an alert up there, 164.90, just to see if it can catch a little bit of selling there. You can see it went straight up from 162 yesterday to 164. So a little quick pop on the open, then maybe a mean reversion back down at the mid 163s would be an interesting kind of this prior high right here. Okay, quickly, DLTR. So DLTR is on the conference call right now. It's getting hammered. It is almost at 87 support. Here's the daily. They did guide down on the fiscal year 19, or at least gave guidance where the midpoint is below consensus estimates. And this had already taken a hit. Obviously, it had a huge run from 70 to 115. It did gap down early March. I don't know if this was an analyst day or what this was. Probably was, I don't know if it was earnings. Yeah, probably was earnings, big volume. So it's almost at the low there, or actually isn't the pre-market touching that. So it had filled this gap here in the last earnings. It's been maintaining this downtrend. So below 87, there really isn't much. The next kind of major support is at $4 lower. Yeah, I didn't put MDG on the list because I figured it would be too hard for people to trade. So 87 was the low here. You can see it popped already to 90. This is pretty much what I'm using. I'm using this 87 support, 90 resistance. First move is up. It's a strong move. It's shallow pullback. It actually starts to get above 90. I'll happy to play it for a bigger bounce. The next one is VKTX, which is actually up in sympathy with MDGL, I guess based on similar types of drug action. So this one already ran up from $1 to $7. It's been consolidating. So it's gapping right to here. And buyer's still definitely in control. It can't get above 720. Imagine if it starts to sell off here, it comes off to like 670 and then fails to get above $7, people will look for the short, back down to 6. If it comes down, comes back up, consolidates and takes out pre-market highs, then watch for the squeeze. GM. So GM got a investment from SoftBank, valuing their autonomous unit at around $11 billion. Started shorting it in below 42. Started to add right above 42. Difficult to trade while getting ready for the morning meeting. It did have one quick drop out here to about 75 cents, and now it's making a new high. Let's take a look at the daily to kind of put this in context. So there's two things. Number one, it's a one-time event, meaning they're getting money and it's being put in. So it's not any type of ongoing positive thing. On the other hand, now the marketplace has an idea of what this unit that caused this up move probably to be valued out. So this move here, people see this and they're like, wow, it did get to 45, 46 before getting sold off hard back down to 35. My thought is it is a one-time thing. Even if SoftBank, who has, I don't know, $100 billion to invest, is willing to give them a high valuation on it, doesn't mean it should get through this area here. So it should pump fail in this area here and then come back down. That's what we're going to find out right now in real time. So what does that look like? Some type of failure up here. It's got to get below $42. Maybe bounce back up, make a higher low, or do something like that. Next one is CRSP. The news on CRSP was they updated drug application. Piper already came out and said this is not really new news. You can see the initial reaction. Well, first of all, let's see what it's done recently. It's recently ran up 20%, so I think this reaction is probably more of a, it's had such a huge run up than anything else. So initial reaction was through this support area, got back above it, then it held the support area, bounced to $64. Now it looks like maybe the higher low here is at 60. I don't expect it to get back down here again. If they flush it down to 60 on the open, this would be a spot to look for a bounce from there and play this range here. Happy to change my initial thought if it starts to hold below $60, but I really want to see it hold below and show some pretty good weakness, get below 59. CRM. So CRM yesterday, it turned out that idea of being shorted from the pre-market was good. And it didn't collapse. It went to 130, then came off a couple more dollars, bounced up to above 130, came back down, and then kind of just didn't do anything the rest of the day. But the 30% up on the year really trumped the pretty good news and the lack of huge guidance. I don't think it was that easy. I mean, I think in the pre-market I got a print at, I want to say 32.80 or something like that for initial short. And then shorted some maybe below 31 and was covering into 29. Started to reshort, I think, at the 30. Then got stopped out here and reshorted. So the initial down move was good. When it got back down 130 again, this was a spot to enter or re-enter. But then it made a higher low. It started to look a little bit more, then it was making a higher low again. But eventually the last move was down. So to me, this area here, 130 to 130.50, is kind of a key. You know, if on the open it spikes up and you see it up here and you want to throw up a short in this area here, you want to basically see it within 10 minutes or so get back down below 130, and then confirmation for downside follow through would start to hold below 129. Very possible that it could just, you know, continue to support this area right here, 129. But I would say this. If we do see a close below 128 in the next few days, definitely see a bunch more downside. DKS. So right, so DKS, this was one we liked on the long side, based on the longer term setup. It still has a bunch of ways to fill the gap from last year when it came off on bad earnings. So that was this action right here. Some people clearly agreed, was after the initial dropout on the open, it was strong the rest of the day. So they dropped it out to 36 on the open. It did fail at pre-market resistance at 1030, consolidated, and eventually when it took that out, that was a second possible entry. It didn't go much higher, went like $1. So it never really got to 40, which would be the next major resistance. And then they kept on buying it at 38, even at the end of the day when they tried to roll over, they continued to buy it at 38. Quick drop out on the open, down to 37.5. today I would buy. And then any type of consolidation above yesterday's high for move to $40. Eventually, I do see getting to the low 40s potentially in the next few weeks, months. MU. So MU was really strong in the morning, was above $64, had a $3 drop out of nowhere in the middle of the day. There was no news. It turns out the news was Morgan Stanley downgraded today. I guess some people found out. People are caught holding the bag of bought it into the close at 62. 60 is the natural spot to look for a bounce, a flush into, have alerts down at like 60 and a quarter. Maybe you'll move through 60 down to the 59, 70s or 80s, then play it for a bounce back up to 61.50, something like that. So that's it. Again, I talked really fast because I got a late start and wanted to just get everything covered. Definitely going to be watching GM. I'm still short this from 42 area, so we'll have to see if this fails up here. But right now, they're still holding it. It's like above 42.20.
Hope you enjoyed that video. You can actually watch that video if you're subscribed to our Trader 90 before the market even opens. What stocks are in play? What levels in those stocks are important? And how we might go about attacking that stock. That's Steve Spencer, 20-year veteran trader, laying it out there every morning before the market even opens. A really, really powerful tool to start your session off on the right foot. So right now we're offering a trial that you can take advantage of to access this meeting and other meetings throughout the day. We have a meeting at 11 a.m. Eastern where you can sit down with Mike Bellafiore and listen to him talk about what's going on during the morning session, what stocks were in play, what the best trade opportunities were, as well as maybe some things that we're looking at heading into the afternoon session. So I really encourage you to take advantage of that trial.